Hello and welcome to my channel, Regenerate. Thanks so much for being here. Today I want to talk about a topic that has been on my mind a lot since having my daughter, and especially lately as I've been seeing a lot of pushback against gentle parenting or parenting techniques that are, positive parenting, gentle parenting type techniques. And I think why people are pushing back on this is because it is a very difficult thing to do. Difficult, especially for people who did not grow up with that type of environment where their parents did not use gentle parenting and used a authoritarian type parenting style, which is how I grew up. And in today's environment where there feels like a lot of lack of control and people want control in their life and approach all situations, not only with parenting, but many relationships in life, in families or in work or with strangers that they're interacting with, this authoritarian type engagement or interaction with others. This is the style of do this because I said so, do this because I want it to get done, and coercing children or people into doing things by laying a guilt trip on them or by making the decision hinge on some type of negative consequence, which is fear-based. So that is the environment that I grew up in, which was with a lot of fear and a lot of guilt and shame. And it resulted in me having a lot of anxiety growing up, and has taken me many, many years to get that under control. And as I am parenting my daughter, I don't want her to have to suffer with issues like anxiety and depression and substance abuse. I want to do everything in my power to help her to develop in a way where she feels confidence, she feels happy, she feels like she can handle the stressors in her life. And that is why I am taking a positive parenting or gentle parenting type approach. And it's not an easy thing to do. As I said, especially coming from a background where I was not exposed to that as a child, I am having to do a lot of learning and change how I might automatically respond to certain situations. I think that one of the things that helps me around this idea of parenting is thinking about control and how my parents, they wanted control over a situation. And we as parents, me as a parent now, want to be able to have control over a situation. And I also need to think about my child's development and her need for control over a situation as well. And how can we share that feeling of control by using collaboration or cooperation and compromise, so that instead of having this heightened emotional state of feeling in this constant fear or stress, and get to a place that's more stable by having this level of cooperation and creating this mutual respect that is generated from naturally interacting with each other and having that cooperation. That mutual respect will naturally occur as opposed to the you must respect me and you must do what I say, which may feel like respect when the child obeys, but isn't truly respect. I want to get to that true sense of feeling like we respect each other and love each other unconditionally. For me, parenting like this takes a lot of mental energy because I'm not practiced in it, and I am practicing it every day and getting better at it, and it will get easier as I practice more. And I see that it is also difficult because my daughter is reaching the terrible twos, as they call it, which I'm not gonna refer to it as that, but this developmental stage where she really wants to express her autonomy. She wants to explore. She wants to learn. She wants to try new things and understand them and be able to perfect them and get better at those things that she wants to learn. So as a parent, I want to be able to support that journey of her developing and her learning. And I may make mistakes during that process, but I'm going to continue to try and do that better. Ultimately, as a parent, I have the responsibility of keeping her safe. And everything else that she is doing or wants to do, as long as there is a way for her to do it safely, I want to try to support her in finding a way to make those things happen. Just this morning, my daughter removed all of the clothes from her dresser that I had just folded and nicely put into the dresser yesterday. And my first reaction was extreme frustration because I had just nicely folded all of these clothes. They were organized so that I could find what I wanted when I need to dress her to get her out of the house in the morning. And she was in there digging through her clothes, taking everything out. And my immediate reaction was okay, this is stressful. I need to get these clothes back into the drawer. Okay, sweetie, no, we need to put the clothes back into the drawer. The clothes belong in the drawer. And she is trying to explain to me that she wants the clothes out of the drawer. And she immediately starts having a tantrum where she's screaming and holding on to the clothes tightly and doesn't want me to put them back into the drawer. So that's when I had to pause and take a breath. Okay, why do you want your clothes out of the drawer? And then she explains to me that she's looking for a particular shirt. So now put myself in her shoes. She has a particular shirt in mind that she wants to wear today. And all of these clothes are folded up in the drawer and she cannot see the shirt that she wants to wear. So she has to remove everything from the drawer in order to find the shirt that she wants to wear. So I helped her find the shirt that she was looking for because she was able to express to me the shirt that she wanted with the race car on it. So we got the shirt with the race car. We put it on her. I asked her what shorts she wanted to wear. We got the shorts she wanted to wear. We put them on. Then she helped me to put the clothes back into a pile. I refolded them and put them into the dresser. So that was cooperation. And instead of potentially the frustration of a never-ending tantrum because she didn't get to wear the shirt that she wanted to wear, it was a few minutes of taking the time to address her need for control of her wardrobe and what she wanted to wear for that day. That's, a small example, but these go throughout the day, and it takes time and attention and creativity and listening skills in order to pause my day when I'm in a rush to get her what she wants, But ultimately, we both come out of the situation feeling much happier than if she had not gotten the shirt that she wanted to wear. And I'll say this doesn't work all of the time. It's not necessarily going to solve every tantrum. And that is not the expectation to have as a parent, that if you are gentle parenting and you are collaborating with your child, that there will be no tantrums, because she is in a developmental stage where she has some level of understanding if I explain things to her, but she doesn't have the level of understanding that an adult has. And that is something that is part of parenting that we as parents need to understand and accept. That, another day there was a shirt that she wanted to wear, and it was dirty from the prior day where it had yogurt and whatever else she had, dirt and stuff all over her shirt. And we were going to class, and I didn't want to put a shirt that had yogurt spilled all over it on her when we were going to class. So even though I explained to her that the shirt was dirty, she was still upset and wanted to wear the shirt, and I wouldn't let her wear the shirt to go to class. So there are situations where the child isn't going to have the level of understanding, and we, as the parents, are going to have to accept that and do the best that we can to comfort the child in that situation. So in that situation, I tried to redirect her to some of her other favorite shirts. I tried to offer her a snack, and that, sometimes it's another issue that is at play, like the child is hungry or the child is tired. And that is what is resulting in this heightened emotional state in that period of time. Another strategy that I like to try to use is to think about the so-called golden rule of treat others how you would like to be treated. And sometimes this actually takes a lot of mental power to really dig in there and think about what's happening and how you would want to be treated. And these things happen day to day where we might feel like that was rude, or, we're in this culture of guilted into something or fear-based decisions, and think, how do I approach this situation with my child in a positive way and not using fear or guilt? And thinking about an example of, I cook a lot. So if I made a dinner and it didn't turn out well, maybe I forgot an ingredient in there, like, made bread without salt in it, or I made beans and I overcooked them and they were mush, or they got burnt, and somebody was, my spouse or other family member or friend was over, would I want them to say, "Oh gosh, you're a terrible cook. I can't believe you did that. That's terrible. You're bad. You're a bad cook. You need to learn how to cook. You need to do this right next time." And, that's how a lot of people were parented. And that is the natural way that we may think of parenting our child. But wouldn't we much rather be approached with compassion of, "Oh gosh, you are making a home-cooked meal. I really appreciate the time that you're putting into that. Oh man, you must be so frustrated that you forgot to put salt in the bread, or that, you got distracted because you're multitasking and you're so busy and you burnt the beans. That must be so frustrating. What can I do to help you? Can I help make another meal? Can I order in tonight?" That is how I would want to be treated. And so thinking about that with my child, if they're going through something really frustrating, being able to come to them with that compassion and say, oh, you're screaming and kicking because you couldn't get your shoes on and you were really trying so hard to learn how to put your shoes on all by yourself. I can see how hard you're working, and if you would like some help putting your shoes on, I would love to help you put your shoes on. Or you have this other pair of shoes here that is easier to put on. Why don't you try mastering these shoes first, and then you can try that other pair of shoes? So there's just some examples of real world scenarios that I've found myself in and how to approach that. It's a hard thing to do, and I think that especially going from, in my case, having 0 children to 1 child, where I was used to being able to put myself first and do everything that I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, and now going to this need for, as I said, cooperation or collaboration, where my child has something that she wants to do, I have something that I want to do, and out of mutual respect, I need to consider her desires and her wants. And it means that I need to accept that I am going to get a lot less done. And that I find really frustrating because I'm someone who likes to make my list and have my plans and check all my boxes off. And I've had to accept that she is the most important thing on my list. And even though there are lots of other things that I want to get done, some days I won't get any of those things done. And I look at the effort and the energy that I am putting in to creating a healthy environment for her and building my relationship with her, and look forward to the future where this is going to be so beneficial for her as an adult, because she's going to understand how to recognize and deal with her feelings. She's going to understand how to cooperate with people. And ultimately, that is going to benefit my long-term relationship with her. That is my hope and my goal in creating a healthy human so she can have a healthy life and healthy relationships. Other thoughts I have are, it's really difficult to do this and to think clearly and creatively and be able to address these challenges when a 2-year-old is having a tantrum when I myself am stressed. So I have been taking extra time to care for myself as well. Last week I got a massage. It was amazing. I felt so good, especially the next day. I was riding on this high. I felt like I was handling everything smoothly. Adding in those little things will help keep it smooth as opposed to being stressed all the time. Another thing that I've had to do is on the weekends, I usually try to get stuff done while she's napping. This last weekend, I was exhausted and I wanted to get stuff done, but I had to force myself to lay down. And I wanted to take a nap, but I couldn't take a nap because I couldn't fall asleep. But I just put on a meditation on Insight Timer and let myself just lay down and relax for an hour while she was having her nap. And in the end, it made me feel so much better than if I had checked off my boxes of doing the laundry or getting some work done or making a video. And today she's napping and I'm feeling a lot more energized today. So I'm able to make this video and share these thoughts with you. Positive parenting, gentle parenting is a hard approach for those of us that haven't had a lot of exposure to it. But ultimately, in the long run, if we think about how we want to be treated and how I want to be treated, the future of how I want my daughter to be able to speak up for herself and allow herself to feel the feelings that she feels and be able to express herself and being able to cooperate with people. These early years, I believe, are so important. And that is why I'm taking this approach. I would be happy to talk more on this topic. Let me know if it's of interest to you. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope that you'll join me again soon.